Hey guys, welcome back to History 125. Today we're talking about the Byzantine Empire. It is lecture 14, and last lecture was pretty long, so I'm going to be doing this one quick. This is going to be a really quick one. I might include a video for you guys to watch. I haven't found one that's really good yet, but I do have another document set very similar to our Why Rome Fell document set that I want you guys to do for homework. So like I said, this is going to be a quick one because you guys are going to be investigating a little bit deeper in the documents, and last lecture was so long. So, what happened after Constantine splits Rome? Here we have our, now again, we're going back in time for this one. The Byzantine Empire is right when Rome split in 476. So we're going back in time a little bit. Our Byzantine Empire is right over here. Constantinople is the capital, essentially. And we have modern-day Turkey. We have this area into the Middle East where, like, Lebanon and Jordan are located. Obviously, like, you know, Jerusalem has Israel, Palestine, and we have Egypt. This area is Greece, and then I believe, like, Armenia is here. And so even though Rome fell due to a lot of reasons, the assassinations of the leaders, weak leaders, the invasions, the Christianity, like Rome fell for a lot of reasons, but the Byzantine Empire keeps going, okay? And the Byzantine Empire keeps going because of its really important location. This is from Google Maps. This is our modern day Byzantine Empire. We have Istanbul. It gets changed. Its name is changed from, oh my gosh, Constantinople to Istanbul. And what's really cool is this area here. This is all that separates Europe from Asia, is this strait. As you can imagine, this is a pretty strategic area. And this area really flourishes. So Constantine in 330 AD, he likes this area. Remember, Diocletian split the empire, but Constantine wants to actually move the capital. And there's an old Greek city there that's getting kind of fallen apart, dilapidated, you know. And Constantine wants to rebuild it. He thinks it is a prime location. I wonder why. This is a really prime location because it is one entryway into Europe. Obviously, there's a strategic value, even if this wasn't here at all. If you have an invasion from the land, it's only going to come from one place. If you have an invasion by sea, it comes from others. But there's roads and bridges and stuff now, and used to be it was not. Like, there was ferries and stuff, and they ended up building. But regardless, this is a really strategic location because of all the trade and, like, the defense and stuff. And so when Rome falls, Constantinople is safe. And the Greco-Roman tradition lives on, but it gets infused with culture from the Silk Road, and also gets infused with Christianity, but not Catholic Western Christianity. No, this is a different kind. It's Greek Orthodox, but okay, we'll get into that. So we also have a really great ruler during the first couple hundred years of Constantinople's rise and the Byzantine Empire's rise, and that is Emperor Justinian. He is an autocrat, which means he rules with complete authority, but he is advised and assisted by his wife, Theodora. And Theodora is a really interesting character if you're interested in any type of feminist history of the world. She's valued right up there with Justinian. He has these great mosaic portraits done, and she has them as well. Like, she has a lot of power. She kind of has his ear to make decisions, and they make decisions together, which is pretty cool. During this time, they expand the empire. to its biggest yet. Let's see, this is in the 500s. Let's show the first map I showed you. He adds all this. He's able to add this. So he's able to even add parts of Italy back. But remember, the Lombards are there and the Pope is there, and it's a big whole issue until Clovis and Charlemagne, remember? But regardless of Italy, Justinian doesn't just keep it going, he actually does expand it. And he's a pretty interesting emperor. He also builds the Hagia Sophia. This means holy wisdom in Greek, and it was the largest cathedral for over 1,000 years. People called it the Vatican of the East. It is now a mosque, and it has been a mosque, well, now it's a museum, but it becomes a mosque, and it was like that for like 500 years. And the really disrespectful thing, well, 400 years, but still, the really disrespectful thing is people still called it a cathedral and like had absolutely no respect. Like the Islamophobia, am I right? The Islamophobia of it all. So I just really want to point out to you guys that this was a really famous mosque for a long time. Because it was a mosque, a lot of the Christian things, had been ripped down, obviously. But remember how the Christians did like stained glass and they did a bunch of portraits in the glass and everything? Well, remember in Islam, where they don't do that, they do more like writing and different types of art. Well, I have a video, a resource I want to show you guys about the inside and the art inside. It's so cool. There's not a lot of pictures and stuff. It's just like handwriting. It's very cool. Anyway, though, back to Justinian. Justinian writes a code of law that is pretty revolutionary for the time. In the 500s, yeah, it's pretty cool. Women can own property. They can bring lawsuits and make contracts. Women can sue people. Very cool. Women can't officially inherit a husband's property unless it's in a will. Like, that's all. So women start to have a position of power that they wouldn't have in the West for like 500 years. Like, women didn't have some of this until Mary Wollstonecraft, you know? Craziness. Children were allowed to choose their marriage partners. So, just like how I said last lecture, like women had to, in the high Middle Ages, keep in mind, this is the 500s. Even in the high Middle Ages, women had to just worry about being a virgin and having a husband, and their family would arrange the husband, like who it would be. In the Byzantine Empire, in the 500s, it wasn't like that. They could choose. What's another interesting thing is, if you were accused, the accused must prove the crime, not the accused proving themselves innocent. So let me explain. If I thought John was stealing from my shop, I could not say, hey, John stole from my shop. And then John would be like, hey, wait a minute, I wasn't even there, it was not me. No, it was the opposite. I had to literally prove that John had stolen from my shop. So I had to like set up, someone to spy on him or whatever, gather evidence. And the last thing that I think is just so interesting, especially coming from Rome. Remember the Roman Empire with all the murder and the assassinations and all that? Murder in the Byzantine Empire was just punished by banishment. So you would just be kicked out. You wouldn't actually be killed. Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy that even in America today, we kill people that kill people sometimes? But what's weird is you would just be banished. So what, like, outside of the city, was there just a bunch of, like, convicted murderers? So interesting to think about. The next thing I want to talk about is the iconoclasm. Very, very cool word. It means destroying the icons. Icon is an idol or a holy item, and a klasm comes from the arche, which means to battle. So it's like literally the battle of the holy icons. And this was a time where they would go through churches, they would go through Hagia Sophia, and try to rip down or destroy all of the icons. Again, this is a very Muslim idea. That's why we don't have any pictures of or paintings of Muhammad. because the idea is you should be worshiping God only and not the image. So to worship Muhammad's picture, that's not the same as just listening to what Muhammad said. So they went through and they would destroy all these things. So there's a lot of things we don't know because of this iconoclasm. Okay. Now I want to go forward in time a little bit. We've been talking about Justinian, now we're on the iconoclasm, but I want to bring us up right to the High Middle Ages in 1054 AD or CE. This is where we officially have the split between the Roman Catholics and the Eastern Orthodox. So the Roman Catholics is Western Europe. Anything we've been talking about with Rome splitting and Rome fell, that's Western Europe. And then what still lives is the Eastern Orthodox. I'm not going to go through all these and read them. If you want to pause, you can read them. That's fine. But this causes the Great Schism. And it begins during the Roman times. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. And it's official when Pope Leo IX and the Patriarch, so Leo IX is in the West, and this Patriarch Celerius, excommunicates each other. It's like, you're excommunicated. No, you're excommunicated. So this is when we have the official split. Even though it began a long time ago, the East and West, it's kind of like how, yeah, that's all. But the Byzantine Empire is not going to live forever. The Byzantines fall after the Crusades. The Crusades left the capital, Constantinople, very weak. There was actually a fire, I forget which crusade, but there was a fire started by the Crusaders that ruined Constantinople. Like, it was so stupid. The Crusades were so stupid. In case you haven't noticed already how I feel about it. Anyways, the Turks from the Far East, not the Far East, just from the East, they see that Constantinople is weak, and they try to get more land. They try to conquer more, and it works. In 1369, Emperor John V seeks out help from the Turks, and is arrested when he can't pay his debt anymore. So he's actually forced to be a vassal or like a serf of Turkey. It's pretty humiliating. It's pretty humiliating coming from an emperor to end up having to be in debt. You know, it'd be like if we had a huge crazy debt to China and China was like, pay up, and we were like, no. And then America becomes like a slave to China. Wouldn't that be crazy? Hey, that's a book idea. Someone write that down. Anyway, Murad II, he was a Sultan. He was a leader of the Muslims, and he launches the final attack. And what's ironic, you guys, is that an emperor named Constantine XI dies in battle, and Byzantium is officially fallen. So Constantine I started it all, and Constantine XI ends it all when he dies in battle against the Muslims. So that's it for the Byzantine Empire. Like I said, this was going to be a short one. And I will catch you guys next lecture for the plague.